Street culture keep the big show with one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. They hide the corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Baratans too, cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su?
Yes. You want to tell me all these years, Mohammed and his father and all of them is a part of PPP that had gone at the PPP office, Freedom House on Rob Street, protecting the PPP from the black people and PNC. And all the time, you there in there, you never see that they ill-treating black people, they killing out black people. You never see this corruption within this party. All the time, you, your family, your uncle, your father, your sister, your mother, everybody supporting this party. Y'all never see that this party is corrupt. Never at no point in time until sanctions start raining down upon you and you expect them to cover you, and they did not cover you. They took away all your gold and diamond license and your business license, your cambio license, and you get upset. And then you started to decide that, you know what, I can run for election to get rid of the sanction, and I can run for election to get back at the people.
I am Aubrey Compton Norton, presidential candidate of their Partnership for National Unity. We have the best team in this election campaign. We have the best manifesto with the plans, policies that will take you out of poverty. We will ensure that money is put into your pocket. For those reasons, we urge you to vote APNU. Put your X next to the palm. Ghana needs to grow, so the PPP must go. The only party that can give us a better and brighter future is a Partnership for National Unity. I urge you to put your X next to the palm and enjoy a high quality life. Thank you.
People want to know how to vote. People want to know how to vote. You understand me? Look carefully. Where you put the X? Right there. Right at the palm. You get your ballot box. You go to the ballot, go to the booth. You go in the booth, collect your ballot, and you go and you watch all the candidates. And you go and you put your X right there at the palm. Right there! So you know how to vote now. Right at the palm.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Over to You on this Sunday afternoon. It's a special broadcast this afternoon. I'm gonna just be here to wean you guys into all the activities for this evening. And you know, that was an excellent presentation there by Mr. Mark Welcome as to how you should go about voting, where you should place your X to make sure that your ballot is legal with a spoil vote. You don't want to take your time and get all the way to a polling station to vote and your ballot, end up being a spoil ballot. But here, we have a lot going on simultaneously here. I believe the leader of the opposition is also doing an interview. I call it to be on their own, but we were not aware, so therefore we're on. I cannot come on and then come off. So, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, Miss Denise Booker. You are the first person in this evening. A pleasant good evening to you. Mary Fig Canada is in the house. MK Blair, welcome to the program. Jacqueline, welcome. C-Doc. Shanette Alicia, welcome in. Hopefully you guys share the link. Hopefully we have a few more people join us. as this, what would I want to say? The most critical election eve that we probably will experience. Okay? This is about Guyana. This is about changing the trajectory of our nation, the nation that we have all so grown to love. Good evening, Mr. Gavin Caesar. Yes, the nation that we would have all grown to love, changing the trajectory. The posture of our nation hasn't been good over the last 5 years. We are all, that is well documented. We are all aware of that. The lawlessness is beyond lawlessness. We've gone into a place that I never expected to see Guyana end up. When you think of the leaders that we would have had in the past of Lyndon Forbes, Samson Burnham, Cheddy Jagan, Desmond Hoyt, Comrade Granger, decent people, decent, all of them that I would have called their names, decent people, different ideology, but overall character and everything. You could not question whether they, had the necessary portfolio to hold the office, the top office in the nation. No question. Okay, but what we see now, I was looking at a piece by Mr. Christopher Ram, a man who I respect a whole lot, where he was talking about Irfan Ali and the way he would have, brought down the seat, at the head of the table, where what we call the presidency in Guyana. He would have decimated, that title of president. Now, as Guyanese, tomorrow is a critical day. You have to go out and you have to vote to restore, that seat of the president in Guyana, to restore that, right? And to an extent, a larger extent, restore Guyana. Restore Guyana. Young people in curricula. Yeah, you have young people in Guyana. Sorry about that, Santa. People in Guyana walking around, with AR-15s, shooting up homes, threatening each other. Young people at that, right? As we go into this election tomorrow, we cannot forget, the Guyanese people cannot forget what they've experienced over the last 5 years. We just had a young 16-year-old teenager shot by an 18-year-old gang member. When has Guyana been known for gangs? From what I'm understanding now, we have a whole lot of them. So what does that tell you? If we have these gangs, and these gangs encompasses more so young people, it shows that the government would have failed young people. There is not enough programs. And even if there are some programs, the programs are just not attractive enough. And you could have a program, but do you have the proper personnel to run the program? Because when we talk about the PPP, we talk about lawlessness, lack of character. Okay, so even if they have a program, who is going to run the program? They don't engage the opposition, right? There's no engagement there. They only want to engage the opposition on the Venezuela matter. These are the things we need to think about. Heading post tomorrow. The PPP has been non-compliant. Okay? The manifesto presented by the PPP is very weak. Extremely weak. Everything they talk about in that manifesto is things that they could have accomplished over the past 5 years in an oil producing, the fastest quote unquote growing economy in the world. Because I have my questions about how these economists do these things from time to time. I believe that the normal man and woman should be part and parcel in that measure when we want to talk about fastest growing economy and these kind of things, richest country per capita. The normal Guyanese should be included there. And, the quality of life that they're having in this quote unquote fastest growing economy that you guys are talking about. It might be the fastest growing investment where people are just coming and investing in the country and taking out all the resources, right? It depends on who are looking at these reports, because I can be very objective when I look through reports. Measurement. But being said, we are where we are today. I know many of us, we call it a deal. That has been a big thing that we've been talking about over the 5 years. I agree that the oil deal is to the Guyanese people. It's not a real deal. But that being said, we would have gotten a lot of revenue out of oil over the past 5 years. There have been a lot of wastage. There have been a lot of corruption. Okay? Look at what this quote-unquote guy who calls himself the Guyanese critic, look what he would have gotten to do a coca. Right? Almost $1 billion. 900 and something million. Job was. These are the type of things that has been happening in Guyana, and they have gone unchecked. They have gone unchecked. We need a government that is responsible. All right? We need a better vetting process when it comes to and how you select them for jobs. All right? You have to select them based on what? Success. If they're executing the contract, if they're doing a good job, okay. You have a good track record. We can trust you. It can be about friends and family. You see, that's where you have the issues. It cannot be about that. Right? You have ministers in government that are sitting there that have become wealthy overnight. Overnight, and their wealth just continues to grow exponentially. But when you look at the normal man and woman in Guyana, you're not seeing that growth. You're not seeing that growth for the masses. But when we pivot back to what is about to occur on Monday, and you hear people saying that the vote needs to be split, and that started with the leader of the AFC. No, guys, I know sometimes people say, Wayne, you're so harsh. But let's break this down. Comrade Nigel Hughes was in negotiation with Comrade Norton to form a quorum, right? Which would have been called the APNU plus AFC. My question to everyone here, what happened to those negotiations? Right? We have sat here from the time the biannual congresses were finished, and we would have called for the negotiations to start. It did not start. They did not get it started. They said that they had time. They wanted to do their grounding. Right? Grounding. 53% of Ghanaians are in poverty, and you were talking about grounding. Okay? Mothers and fathers are unable to send their children to school, or if they have multiple children, they got to pick one or pick two out of the three that they're going to send to school. The other one may have to go sell newspaper or something so that ends meet can come into the home. But we're talking about grounding, right? Eventually, everything ended up falling apart. But I believe in the falling apart, the AFC have lost tremendously. I was looking at it all the time, and I'm saying, Brother Nigel, take your 30%, man. Take your 30% and keep it moving. That's a heck of a deal. That's a heck of a deal coming off of what Charindas Prasad would have done. You guys, the AFC never took time to rebuild that party. They came at the last minute and they want to call the shots. So now, when he comes back now and he's saying split the vote, and look, Mr. Hughes is highly respected in Guyana. But I believe in order to eradicate poverty, we cannot get into parliament and argue about it. It has to be a straight ideology, and we go right after it. We need to change things where the motto of the Guyanese people, we know it's one people, one nation, one destiny. That motto is no one, and that is garbage. But the second motto of the Guyanese people, okay, should be to have a home and land, right? That is going to contribute immensely to equity. Just that alone, it gives us self-give that they will cheat. It does a great thing for morale. Okay? When you're going to say split the vote, guys, trust me, Nigel Hughes may not want to admit it, but I'll tell you guys something. You see all the rich people in Guyana? They've gotten wealthy off of the impoverished people of Guyana and off of the state of the country. So therefore, they love the state of the country. See, the difference between them and Comrade Norton and Comrade Himes and Apostle London and these guys, the difference between Nigel Hughes and these guys is that these guys have not tasted that type of wealth. Okay? It is not in their blood to forget their morals, where they come out and make reckless statements, because that statement is reckless. It is selfish. All right? It is selfish. The narrative of the country needs to change, and it needs to be changed forthwith. Nigel Hughes and the other authorities don't need to be running to court with people every minute because there's something happened, something violent would have happened or something. No, man. We need a lawful nation. We need leaders with character. Okay? We need leaders with character. See, a lot of these guys could go out there and skin their teeth. They can feed their kids. They got these big lavish mansions, who in own law firm, own this, own that. That's fine and good. Good for you. good for you. You could keep all of that. But right now we're dealing with the Guyanese people. And if you're not going to come to the table and talk about things that are beneficial to the Guyanese people, don't come at all. Don't come at all. We're not here to waste time. There's an election to be won tomorrow. All right? The best opportunity to win the elections and to remove the PPP is to vote APNU. They're the largest party, not by a small bit, but by a mile. We have to think logically here. The objective is to remove the PPP. I'm not here to speak this afternoon to force people to do anything. But we're going to reason, and we're going to reason with logic. Now let's look at Win. Let's look at Win. There would have been no Win if the two larger parties didn't have some hiccups earlier. Or I'm going to put it this way. If APNU didn't have some hiccups earlier, where you had people fighting the leader, Look, man, I've always said it. You don't have to like a leader. Respect the position. If that leader is executing the policies and is doing the right thing, respect the position. All right? Now, the leader of Win. You see, people like to come out and people like to force people to get amnesia. They must forget the past. Let's look at this person's character now. Can't do that. Can't do that. Your character is built over time. It's not built in 1 year. It's not built in the last 5 years where you start donating out to people. Okay? Maybe there was a strong reason why you were donating to people, why you was donating so much to people. A lot of us here, right here on this program here, we donate. We don't talk about what we do. We just donate. Our track record, our character is unblemished, right? Because we have done the right thing consistently over and over and over again. No, the Muhammad's family wasn't just a normal family that was a PPP voting family. This is a family that poured in millions of dollars into the PPP, especially at elections time. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's just put this in context. You have been pouring in money to the PPP for that 23 years that Guyanese were punishing. Poverty rate through the roof. Yes, Leighton K. Charles, valid point. There would not have been no Win party if they weren't sanctions. Well, you make a whole lot of logical sense here. Because if I have sanctions against me and I can do something in my country, start giving away stuff, donating stuff, right? And getting popular with the people, lowering them to come in and support me, being able to run for president, maybe, just maybe, I can beat those sanctions. But, Mr. Charles, you're correct. But what I want to say, the people of Guyana have to understand this, and I've said this on programs before. We don't have no kings and queens in Guyana. We don't want no kings and queens in Guyana. Okay? The narrative cannot be about one man. The narrative cannot be about one man. And you're talking about a narrative being about one man who lacks character. I'm listening to programs where people are speaking about how many different women the guy have, how many different women he to sleep with. Some people are saying, oh, he's Muslim, oh, he's this, oh, he's that. No, look, listen. Here. You want to lead a people, man? You're talking about leading a nation here, man. We're not talking about leading a strip club or something of that nature. We are talking about leading a nation. We are talking about leading the Cooperative Republic of Guyana that was once led by the late, great Lyndon Forbes Sampson Bornholm. Right? When you go out into the diaspora, there's a lot of Guyanese exports out there. We haven't would have sat. We and went and we endure these of laws. Whenever we're in a discussion with regards to our country, we want to lift up our heads and speak of Guyana proudly. Not have to down our heads. That a president that, okay, that lacks, that doesn't have the correct portfolio to be sitting in that position. When you look at all the candidates across the board, because, ladies and gentlemen, hypothetical speaking, let's put it this way. Irfan Ali is voted out, and he's replaced by Azruddin Mohammed. My question to you guys, what would have changed? What would have changed? They asked Azruddin Mohammed in an interview, and it's not just in the interview, but he would have said this over and over again, that he is not interested in working with the APNU. And he said, or the PPP. But yet in an interview, live interview, he kind of retracted that statement. Not the entire statement, the part with the PPP, where he said that he would work with the PPP if it's in the best interest of the Guyanese people. Now, question here for Azruddin Mohammed. Don't you think it was in the best interest of the Guyanese people when your companies would have extracted gold to pay your taxes? You see, that's the thing. We like to be convenient. We like to look past certain things. Okay? Is either you are compliant or you are non-compliant. is either you want to have a country where there is a measure of law and order, the citizens are safe, or you want to have a lawless country whereby you have young people with AR-15s and different types of weapons out there murdering each other. Now, the PPP would have uttered, and this is through the Commission of Police, urging the electorate to be calm as they go to vote tomorrow. It is not the electorate that one should be worried about. If we recall from last year, no, not from last year, from 2020, sorry. You had Sheriff Corporation pulling up in their vehicles, bullying the people at the polling stations, driving away with ballot boxes. I say this to the opposition. If that occur this year, on Monday, nobody getting swearing in Guyana. Guyanese do not allow anybody to swear in Guyana. Oh no. Oh no. And you observers, we're not going to watch you with one eye or two eyes. We're going to watch you with four eyes. Because I'll say this to you guys. You would have left a bitter taste in the mouth of the Guyanese people after 2020. Your utterances and what you would have done. You left specific recommendations as you departed Guyana in 2020. CARICOM, all of them. OAS, yeah, Bruce Golding, you're back in Guyana. You're a hypocrite. You are a hypocrite. Yes. You guys may have sit in the position of president one time in your life or whatever the case is. But listen, it doesn't have to do with that. It has to do with character. It has to do with what you stand for. And what do you stand for? I stand for humanity. I could tell you about me. I stand for humanity. I stand for equity for all. You hear it? All. Not some. All. Opportunities must be there for everyone. I am tired. I am sick of seeing the way, specifically, how African Guyanese are treated. It makes me sick. Okay? It makes me sick. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. When the Indians would have came to Guyana, they came and they found an emancipated people. They didn't come and help us emancipate ourselves. It was a... We know what it is like to struggle. 400 plus years of the same thing. Whenever you walk through Guyana or walk across any region in Guyana, and you see an African Guyanese male, understand that he would have been a product of the transatlantic slave trade. I'll tell you something, man. Don't be fearful with Comrade Norton. We don't know how to punish people. We've never punished anybody. We have just experienced. It has been dished out to us. We know what it is like to be punished. Okay? We know what it is like to be separated. We understand the struggle better than anyone else. Nobody else could understand it the way we do, because they don't experience what we would have experienced. They don't live in this skin. You have to live it to understand it. Look at Guyana. Look at all the malls in Guyana. Do you see one mall that is owned by African Guyanese? Do you? Can anyone tell me of one? When you talk about African-owned businesses in Guyana, I could think of Mr. Andrews. I remember they have Nigel's. That man would have passed on. And there's a few others. Nigel Hughes would have a law firm. Come on. Where's the equal distribution of wealth? Where's the equal opportunities for all? What does Barry Jagdeo come and speak on Thursdays? And everybody listen. And everybody say, my VP. And everybody praise him. You see, sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, I look at my Indian brothers and sisters. Yes, and I call them brothers and sisters. Not sure they would do the same if they look at me. But you see, that is the way we are built out. It is about the way we are built out. All right? And I believe it's high time we start going through a little bit of an attitude change. We got to stop being the doormat for everybody else. People sometimes don't want to believe it. But if you don't believe it, then you got to be walking around blind. Friends. I've had friends under this PPP regime that would have walked in to cambios to change money, and the rate of exchange was different for the Guyanese of East Indian descent versus the Guyanese of African descent. The infrastructure, the economic infrastructure of Guyana is built out for the PPP by the PPP. What has happened to the African Guyanese, the poor East Indians in Guyana, and the Amerindians and the other ethnic groups, is that the PPPC would have committed economic genocide against them. Right? Economic genocide. So when people want to talk about splitting votes and stuff, they really need to sit on their couch and really sit down and think about what they're talking about and how it would resonate. I know some of the small parties, they want to have a seat at the table and they want to be able to speak and to be heard. I agree with that, because that aligns with what we call democracy, right? It aligns with what we call democracy. I even believe after these elections that some of the small parties, if they so want to, can go under the APNU banner and start to formulate themselves. They can do that. These small parties have leaders. Leaders can sit together and have conversations, man. And I say this to the leaders of the large parties also. In order to be a great leader, you have to be able to sit down in a room and negotiate. That's a critical skill that a leader must have. The ability to execute when it comes to negotiations and making deals. Because if the APNU can have other parties come in and join them, it would only strengthen them. Mind you, the ideology has to align. But back to splitting the vote. I'm sure if you walk around the streets in Guyana and you ask the Guyanese people, hello, ma'am, hello, sir, what do you think about the large-scale corruption by government? What is your thoughts on that? Would you like the monies to be recaptured? They will all tell you yes. Why I don't want a split vote is because I would like to see us change the narrative in Guyana. I would like to see a new government step into office and ask all the ministers of the PPPC and all the high-level individuals in the PPPC to stay put while we conduct forensic audits on everybody. I would like to see legislation passed in the parliament where every parliamentarian every 2 years reports his or her assets. I would like to see legislation also passed in the parliament where parliamentarians are not participating in the day-to-day operations of their own businesses. It infringes on their ability to get the people's work done. It is one or the other. It is one or the other. I give you guys an example. Jermaine Figueroa, teacher, businessman, philanthropist, in that he was doing work with some people out in the States here doing donations and other things. Head of the Public Accounts Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, look what would have happened to the Public Accounts Committee. That committee is in place to keep track on our spending. Okay? They are so far back. We haven't even gotten to 2020. We haven't even done spending under the PPP for 2020 yet. That's unacceptable. That's what you call being non-compliant. You need to set proper rules with that. You cannot run a country with like that. You haven't done any accounting when it comes to your 2020 spending. Then here's my question to you guys. Here is my question to you guys. If you have not done your work from a Public Accounts Committee perspective in evaluating and analyzing the spending of the nation for 2020, how are you able to create budgets in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024? Look, we can't play guesswork here, man. If we want to run a country and we want the people to experience prosperity, consistent prosperity, we have to set proper standards, right? We have to set proper rules and laws, and we would have to execute within the scope of those laws in order for everything, in order for the process to work correctly. Comrade Norton is a stickler for that. Another leader that I see is a stickler for that is Apostle London. Well, we all know about Dr. Hines, right? Dr. Hines just don't play around. Rules are rules. When I look at the Public Accounts Committee, you need someone there that is boisterous, right? You need someone there that is boisterous. And I did say I like Apostle London to lead that Public Accounts Committee. Also, I would like to see the makeup of the Public Accounts Committee change, where there's not just politicians, but they're qualified individuals from the public sector. And maybe you can have free individuals of choice from the diaspora to do oversight. You have to do things properly, guys. You cannot take shortcut. What Barry Jagdeo and the PPP would have done over that first 23 years is change Guyana into a hustle. And come Monday, that's the task of the Guyanese people, to reverse Guyana from a hustle to some measure of normalization. And you might want to say, Wayne, what do you mean by normalization? Is Guyana not normal? No, it's not normal. Every week is bloodshed. Don't you guys see the lawlessness on the highways and byways? Don't you guys see the lawlessness? Right at the Ogle roundabout there, just which the pedestrian was just crushed by a truck. Listen, I understand that there will be accidents. I am not saying that there will not be accidents. But it's the consistency, it's the consistent occurrences, it's the lawlessness that you see on the roadways, is the lack of oversight by the police force traffic. The Guyana police force need a complete reform. Dr. Paul Williams, Mr. Paul Slow, Mr. Conway, and they need to assemble a group of strong policemen and former policemen that possesses the necessary character, okay, to bring reform to the Guyana police force. Under the PPP, if somebody come and ask me if their young child should join the Guyana police force, I'll tell them absolutely not. You're sending your child to learn how to be corrupt. Learn how to shake down people. You had a high-level police official who was on the sanction list. Could you believe that? And I believe that that guy is still on the job. Soon here, sanction out. Soon the word sanction come out. But how do you change these narratives? You got to put the necessary regulations in place, okay, to mitigate these things from occurring over and over. You got to put legislation in place that says that if you do these things, you wouldn't just be terminated, but you will also lose all your pension. You got to be serious. You got to put the measures in place. If you put the measures in place, trust me, it will deter them from committing the acts. Let's change over now. We're going to pivot here. Tomorrow is the day. Guys, we've been talking about this for so long. And to know that we have gotten to the day before, right? To know that we have gotten to the day before. We've executed, all of you guys here, everybody present here with me this Sunday evening. You've executed. You've done your part. Remember this program. This program is over to you, for the people, by the people. We are here to address issues affecting the people. This is about people. So when we have politicians come out and they want to talk, nonsense and not talk sense and not talk people-centric, not bring people-centric knowledge to the floor, it would not make any sense to me, because I'm all for people. That's the reason I'm here. I don't play with humanity. I don't play with life. I believe that life is a beautiful thing. And guys, don't tell me, Wayne, everybody believe that life is a beautiful thing. No. Barry Jagdeo does not believe that life is a beautiful thing. Irfan Ali does not believe that life is a beautiful thing. The PPP ideology doesn't reflect life as being a beautiful thing. If it did, then they would have been a people-focused, people-centric government. They would not have been a transactional business-type government. Is business needed in government? Absolutely. Is business the number one thing in government? Absolutely not. You are elected by the people to work for the people. You see, Barry Jagdeo, you just want to come and dictate terms. You don't behave like if you're working for the Guyanese people. You don't. Many of you don't behave as if you're working for the Guyanese people. As we prepare to bring in a new government tomorrow, as we prepare, and I am confident that the Guyanese people are going to show up in their numbers tomorrow to change the trajectory once and for all of Guyana. Everybody mustn't be. You see, the thing about it, everybody calls Barry Jagdeo name a lot, but it's not in a positive way. That's the thing. It is not in a positive way. We need to change that. He needs to go. Don't let him back in. Look, 23 years. You could have done the bare minimum. Fix GWI, fix GPL. If you would have done that in 23 years, although you should have done more than that, if you had just done those two things, I would have said, well, okay. All you did was build a very fragile Borbees Bridge at the mouth of the river, and you got a stadium there at Providence. This way y'all just have y'all bacchanal and y'all stuff. We all drive up in y'all big fancy vehicles and y'all sit down in a box and stuff, and the poor people them down below, y'all might give them some $20 tickets and stuff like that and tell them, come enjoy yourself. When they don't spend up all their money to buy the clothes and to buy everything to come and enjoy themselves and they go home now, it's a struggle to pay rent when the month comes and to send the children to school. Barry Jagdeo and Irfan Ali, you guys have criticized social media and all of that. You see these people that's on this program here? These people on this program here tonight are lifesavers. The diaspora contributes so much to the Guyanese economy. You guys want to talk nonsense? That's just to show you that you guys are just not smart. You're not smart. You guys are just a bunch of dunces. You criticize social media. You know what you're doing? You know, if the support of these people on social media cut off in there, and you know what happens? You guys are in trouble. Because remember the saying, Bob Marley said it, a hungry man is an angry man. You guys didn't want to anger the Guyanese people. I don't think you want that. Yeah, 8,000 or how many hundred police officers and GDF officers combined can't stop them. Not enough. Not nearly enough. Your security forms, your illegal security forms. Yes, I call them illegal. I call them illegal. Your reinforcement to do your dirty work if the Guyana police force does not take your orders. We'll be watching them tomorrow. We'll be watching them tomorrow. The people will be walking out with their phones. Y'all go there and mess with people's family like if y'all don't have family. Go out there and mess with people's family tomorrow like if you guys don't have families. Go on. Some of you guys just want to get hyper. Things just run to y'all head. And y'all has just decided, oh, we're going to beat this person, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. Okay. Don't remember your family, but think that you can take advantage on somebody else's child. Don't. I'll just warn you guys. I don't know what the repercussions are going to be. I'm going to just warn you. It is the people's democratic right to shout in their numbers tomorrow. Go to the polling station and vote for the government of their choice, unharassed. When they get home, once there's no violence, once there's no drinking, and all they have a right to stay on the parapet and bring out the wedding pot and do their cooking and do their stuff as they await their results. If the guys want to go and hang out at the Guinness bar as they wait their results, they have a right to. But I urge everybody, don't drink, don't get drunk. I urge all the young men also, don't go out tonight, drink and get drunk. You guys know you just get locked up on election day. You African Guyanese males, you know that you typically get locked up on election eve. This one, it must, as I share, in favor of the APNU, and to some extent, the small parties, Forward Guyana, the Simona Broom's party, because the ideologies are close. As much as I'm doing that, guys, I have an expectation of the new government. Right? There's a couple of things I have queued up, and I'm going to share them with you. The Linden martyrs, those families must be paid within the first year of an APNU government. It's not much. It's not much to pay out to them. Why do we do these things? Why do we do these things to people? Quindom Bacchus, to the extent that some was not paid out. Because I think Anil Nandalal was saying that that's a little bit too much for Black life. Well, when he's going to look at the 1763 monument that represents the great Kofi, and the words that would have come from his mouth is that Kofi was a house slave. And then Anil Nadala, you come out to apologize. I'm going to add a little bit more to what my brother Ronald Daniels would have said. It's going to be short. You can keep your apology. It's not accepted. It will never be accepted. You see, look, man, there's just certain lines, man, you just don't cross. And Anil Nandalal, I have watched you. You're the worst attorney general in the history of Guyana. Number one, you can't execute the laws correctly. You're a dunce. Yes, you just reach out to my friend, Comrade Roysdale Ford. Yes, you just use his notes. Yes, that's accurate. And maybe it aligns with what the people are saying, that you would have read the law books upside down. We'll be watching you tomorrow because I know that you like to have your pockets filled with fake IDs. The APNU is ready for you guys. The APNU is ready for you guys. Forget GCOM. The observers need to be on their game. Okay? Because when the illegalities are found, nobody mustn't come with nothing. All votes must count. And when you tally all votes, you understand me? The party that get the most votes win. No. We're going to do a proper comprehensive audit here. You guys didn't do a new voters list. You didn't do biometrics. That is not the fault of the opposition. The opposition has begged. They have called for it. Okay? You guys are not going to impose what you want to impose on the Guyanese people. The observers ain't going to walk into Guyana and push whatever government they want to push to the Guyanese people and walk out back where they go and live their beautiful lives with their families and leave Guyanese, 53% of them, to live in continued poverty. No, that's not going to happen. This is a different dispensation of Guyanese. We have to stand up for ourselves. It's mandatory that we stand up for ourselves. We deserve prosperity just like everybody else. Everybody's extracting Guyana oil and everybody's getting rich and enjoying themselves off of Guyana. The US, Canada, or any of these countries does not have a border issue with Guyanese following their wealth to their country. Okay? You need to do what is right for the people of Guyana. Stop pushing criminal organizations to run a country to keep a people oppressed and suppressed. Okay? That is just not right. We got to look at things as right and wrong. Okay? Good must always prevail over evil. You guys like to preach those things. Well, execute it. Don't just talk the talk. Walk the walk. The elections must be free and fair. I know many believe that it cannot be free and fair because of the list. And they're right. When you have a list of about 776,000 Guyanese voters, and you have a nation with a population of about 830,000 people, make that math. Make that make sense. You're telling me that under the age of 18, we have approximately 60,000 children? Come on. Come on. That's why the Guyanese people have not seen a census also. For those same reasons also. These are things that you guys are going into that booth to vote for on Monday. Tomorrow. Peter Headley, Paper Shorts, Quidam Bacchus, or in Boston, Courtney Crum Ewing, Ronald Waddle, so many, the Bacchus brothers, Saturday Saul, the PPP minister. I got some inputs on that gentleman. I understand, very, very good gentleman. You see, you can't be anything good and survive in the PPP party. If you're good, you have no right being there. The whole core of that party is diabolic. Guyana's become a very lawless place. I have seen the profanity. I was watching an interview with one of these individuals that call themselves a social media influencer. And you know what the person said, guys? The person said if they come on a program and they don't use indecent language and they don't curse up and get on, the viewership is low. I don't doubt that. That is what we've been conditioned. The Guyanese people would have been conditioned to like these things, to like the big wind up and the big lawlessness and everything. But I'll say something and I'll go a place that you guys, I hope you guys don't get upset with me. But part of the reason for all of this, guys, is lack of any spine from the religious organizations in Guyana. Oh yes, they are spineless. Your attendees at church, they are good enough to pay tithes and offering, but you are not good enough to go out into their communities to see what they're dealing with, what they're going through, to make those few dollars that they bring and they drop as offering and tithes, okay, in the house of the Lord. You guys got to ask yourself, so many young women getting abused, a massive uptick in gun violence in Guyana. The opposition got to look at that. Gun control. Need to have some measure of gun control. Guyana is not the US. We don't have the trauma units to deal with gunshot wounds like that. We don't want to be known as experts for dealing with guns. We don't want guns. We need a, right? We Guyana that people can go. I want to get back to the way people go have a party. And we come back and everybody talk about how the party was nice last weekend. Now we go to a party and there's a shootout at the party. And then 7 days later, we're going to a funeral. Right? Behooves the whole process of going to a party. Because you didn't enjoy yourself, and you're going to one of your friends' funeral. Or somebody you may have known in the party that was shot and killed. We don't want that. You see, all these type of things, this was created under the PPP. The PPP has given out so many firearms. Everybody's a businessman with a firearm. Y'all don't see that? And then when they pull out the firearm and they use it, they put up big in the papers. Businessman killed this person because this person was trying to rob them and all that, which is not always the case. Sometimes it could be a normal domestic dispute. When I look at what would have happened in Charlotte Street, the first thing I say to myself, well, wow, it got to be pretty easy to get a gun, because I have not heard in the news that this guy was a part of the Guyana Defense Force or a part of the Guyana Police Force. So I'm like, wow, I know you could go on the ground and get a nice black market gun in Guyana. Imagine that. Look what the fabric of our nation has become. That's why I'm urging the electorate in their numbers to go out and vote overwhelmingly for the APNU. right? And as my colleague, Mr. Ben Chop, would have said, you have any small leftover votes for Guyana and Miss Simona Brooms and her party. Right now, those are the three parties that I can look at and say, okay, the manifestos are solid, the ideology kind of mirrors each other. I like it. All right? You can't have a sanctioned presidential candidate. You can announce your prime ministerial candidate one night ago, and you're telling me that I should allow you to run Guyana. The complexities of a nation that's the fastest growing economy, there's a lot of moving parts there. Okay? There's a lot of moving parts there. You need to have competent people. Okay? Mr. Norton, I've had over 50 years to get ready for this moment. He is proven and he's ready. All right? He is proven and he's ready for the job. And you know what makes him so ready? The dynamics of his team would have changed. There are some bright lights that are in there now. With Mr. Andrews, Ronald Daniels, strong, Dr. Terence Campbell, Dr. David Hines, strong prime ministerial candidate, Director of Finance, excellent choice, very articulate, very knowledgeable. Guyana will be in a good place with this new government. I will continue to be here. I'm not just going to see a new government into place and just run away. I'm going to continue to be here because the new government must execute on behalf of the people. This is not a one-way street where I'm going to sit down and I'm going to be critical of the PPP for their wrongdoings and just see something wrong being done by a new government and just pass on it. No, we'll be here to nip it in the bud and eliminate it immediately. And you guys got to act. You guys got to really assist me in doing so if we are going to change the trajectory of Guyana. Some program announcements. There's going to be a program with the Honorable former MP, Mr. Christopher Jones. That is probably going to start around 7. Also, Mr. Ben Chop is going to be on later this evening with Straight Up, special edition, later on this evening. Last night we went until 12. I don't know who missed the program last night, but after the rally, we were on until 12 last night. So I'm believing that Mark may be going down that same road this evening. So while you take a break after I'm done here, after I've wrapped up here, make sure you grab your dinner and grab your snack and everything and sit down because we're going to have a long night. And I am sure that there's going to be coverage tomorrow and updates tomorrow on the whole electoral process and how the process is going, right? Look, I am not even cautiously optimistic. I am very, very optimistic that the Guyanese people tomorrow are going to go out in their numbers and they're going to nail their votes to the palm. Okay? Make sure that your X is in the box. No spoil votes. No spoil votes. Do not listen to anybody who comes and tells you, oh, I'm going to give you 200,000 or I'm going to give you whatever to change your vote and to vote PPP and all that. That's why they pulled that last large sum of money out of the treasury before they left office. It's to do exactly that. Come to the polling station. On your way there, they're offering you this. Don't worry about it. You're going to get more than that over the 5 years, the next coming 5 years. You are going to be getting cash transfers yearly. Okay? It's not going to be on Barajagdio to determine whether you're going to get cash transfer, well, cash grant for the PPP or not. You hear what Mr. Norton say? Busing for students to school. Love it, love it, love it. I remember the stories of hearing the children in the interland, how they have to paddle with canoe and stuff like that to get to school. Let's get bicycles. Let's get whatever it is that they need. Water transportation. Let's get that in place. We need an educated nation in order to be a successful nation. And listen, all of you guys here, I want you guys to know this. You all have a part to play. Everybody have a part to play. Don't feel left out in any way or form. You all have a role to play in this process. When the new government come in place, the new government is coming in place because of the new government. The new government is coming in place because of the hard work of so many, right? Including you guys. Don't exempt yourself. Don't ever exempt yourself. You have been here day in and day out. All right? Okay, I will take my leave now. Guyanese again. Form your quorums and go out there. Hit those polling stations with your votes. Your X's in the palm. Okay? If it don't land in the palm, you make sure it land with Forward Guyana or Miss Simona Broom's party. All right? Do what you have to do in your numbers. Do what you have to do in your numbers. To the 10-day workers that would have been forced to come to the PPP rally in order to enhance the crowd. Don't let them do your future. Will the APNU will create sustainable jobs for you. Okay? Mr. Norton has promised that, and I know that he will execute on his promise, on his promises. Until I see you guys again, my love to all of you. Thank you guys also for coming on to this program and building this program out. This program was built by you guys. Over to you, a show for the people, by the people. You know, it has been a great pleasure spending time with you guys over the last 3.5 years or so, whether it's on Over to You or on Straight Up. I love all of you guys. And until you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, prepare for the elections tomorrow. Love you, love you, love you. Good night.
Yes. You want to tell me all these years, Mohammed and his father and all of them is a part of PPP that had gun at the PPP office, Freedom House on Rob Street, protecting the PPP from the black people and PNC. And all the time, you there in there, you never see that they ill-treating black people, they killing out black people. You never see this corruption within this party. All the time, you, your family, your uncle, your father, your sister, your mother, everybody supporting this party. Y'all never see that this party is corrupt. Never, never at no point in time until sanctions start raining down upon you and you expect them to us to cover you, and they did not cover you. They took away all your gold and diamond license and your business license, your cambio license, and you get upset. And then you started to decide that, you know what, I can run for election to get rid of the sanction, and I can run for election to get back at the people.
I am Aubrey Compton Norton, presidential candidate of their Partnership for National Unity. We have the best team in this election campaign. We have the best manifesto with the plans, policies that will take you out of poverty. We will ensure that money is put into your pocket. For those reasons, we urge you to vote APNU. Put your X next to the palm. Ghana needs to grow, so the PPP must go. The only party that can give us a better and brighter future is a partnership for national unity. I urge you to put your X next to the palm and enjoy a high quality life. Thank you.